Hello, everyone. Today, I have a story that is as heart-wrenching as it is shocking. It's about the complex dynamics of family relationships and the unexpected choices people make. This is, my mom married a man who rejected me, so I chose my own path. Get ready for a tale that will keep you on the edge of your seat as we dive into the intricacies of love, acceptance, and standing up for what is right. So, sit back, relax, and let's dive into this captivating story. I'm a nearly adult female, and I have an older brother who's 19. My dad was never a very good dad. He and my mom separated when I was young, but never divorced. Not sure why. He was crappy as a dad before the separation, after the separation, and crappy when my mom died 3 years ago. By crappy, I mean he wasn't there, didn't spend time with us, didn't show up for anything, didn't take care of us when we were sick, never knew anything about us, etc. While living in the same house, I often didn't see him for 2, 3, or even 4 months. About 2 years ago, he met Sally, married her after 6 months, and she had her 3 kids under 10 moved into the house. Dad is much more involved with Sally's kids than he was with my brother or me. My brother stopped talking to him after he saw how Dad was with Sally's kids. I pulled way back, too. I do my own thing and don't care to interact with Dad or Sally's kids. Sally's kids think I'm the coolest person ever, and they try very hard to hang out with me. Sally's tried to push her kids on me so many times. She told me I should embrace being a sister and having a bigger family. I told her this isn't my family. This is where I stay until I can move out and be with my family, my brother. Sally must have told Dad because he spoke to me after I said that to her. Then he talked to me again and again and again. Then, after a few months of me just ignoring his attempts to talk, he asked why I was being such a brat and why I wasn't getting to know my family. I told him this was no family of mine. He was no dad to my brother or me. I told him he was an awful dad, and did he really think we'd be happy he was being a better dad to kids, not his own? He said they are his kids, and they're my siblings now, and I should embrace that. That made me angry, and I told him as much. I also corrected his calling them my siblings because we're no siblings, and none of them will be in my life in a few months. He told me I should be glad he's trying to be a better dad to them, and by being a better dad to them, it'll make him a better dad to my brother and me, too. I laughed, called him pathetic, and reminded him that he was an awful dad. Sally and her kids heard everything. The kids were upset that I said we weren't siblings. They were upset that I was mean to their dad. Sally thought I was being a spoiled little princess for harshly judging my dad. She also thought I should be willing to give them a shot. Then they, Dad and Sally, involved my parental grandparents, who decided to preach forgiveness and reconciliation to me. They implored me to try to salvage things with Dad now that he's grown. They also said calling my father pathetic and laughing at him was wrong. I feel like I'm living in another reality, but gotta ask, am I the idiot? How is him being a good dad to them being a good dad to you? Is he doing anything to become a better father? How is this all falling on you? He's making zero effort and expecting you to be all buddy-buddy now. Why is it all on you when he's the one who screwed up? OP, you're not the idiot. Dad, Sally, and grandparents are all idiots and naive for thinking you would just get over growing up with a crappy dad. Serious reconciliation in these situations takes a major effort on the parent's part. It doesn't just happen. He was never involved in your life. He would be gone for months at a time. Your mom died, and he still didn't step up, but somehow has the time to date. Has your dad even tried to make it up to you by spending time with you? Or is he just, oh, look at me. I'm such a great dad to Sally's kids. Let's all pretend we're a family now. Freaking go no contact as soon as you can. Your life would be better off without all these jerks who think that a lifetime of neglect is no big deal. Can you move in with your brother the moment the clock strikes 18? I hope so. I'm sorry you're in a situation that has caused you such obvious pain, anger, and resentment. Don't take it out on Sally's kids. They're innocent. There's nothing wrong with you not viewing them as siblings. Just remember they're little humans too. I'm female, 20, 6 months pregnant with twins, and I just had my baby shower last weekend. For some context, my parents divorced when I was 12, and I have two siblings, an older brother and a younger brother. My dad remarried 2 years after the divorce. His new wife already had a daughter, 22, and they have three more kids together. After the divorce, my mom got custody over us, and we visited my dad on weekends. I don't have a good relationship, either with his wife or with his stepdaughter. His wife always tried to be our new mom, which my brothers nor I liked, and her daughter would always try to fight for our dad's attention with us, especially me, since we were both girls. Because of this, we never really liked each other, and that hasn't changed over the years. Back to the baby shower. My boyfriend and I decided to celebrate it this month, as I'm already feeling too tired for my pregnancy and want to spend the last months in my house. We sent everyone the invitations about 2 weeks ago, and it was already an issue since my dad called me and told me if the date was not right since it was his stepdaughter's birthday. So, I confirmed the date. I knew it was her birthday, and we didn't speak about that again. My dad showed up at the baby shower with two of my half-siblings, but neither his wife nor stepdaughter did, which wasn't a problem for me. But then I got messages from both of them telling me that what I did was awful because my dad wasn't able to spend his daughter's birthday with her, and they weren't able to attend the baby shower. I told them my dad could have chosen not to attend the baby shower and stayed home with them if he wanted to. Therefore, it's not my problem, and they have to solve it themselves. His stepdaughter called me a selfish brat. Was I the idiot for this? You are the idiot. You knew it was her birthday. You could have picked literally any other weekend. You said that they'd try and fight for your dad's attention, but it seems more like that's what you're doing. You knowingly created a conflict that could have otherwise easily have been avoided. Not the idiot. I don't see it as a big deal. Stepsister turned 22. She's not 12. It's not even a milestone birthday. The shower was a couple of hours. How come he couldn't do both? And why did the stepsister need her stepfather for the entire 24 hours of her birthday? Does she not have a bio father she doesn't share with anyone? When I became an adult, I quickly realized I rarely actually saw my parents or celebrated my birthday on the actual date. And it's not like a baby shower takes all day to celebrate either. He could have celebrated with her after for dinner or something. She's a stepsister. I'm not sure why her birthday would be significant to you, especially when her and her mother don't get along. LOL. Your father could have easily said no and stayed to celebrate his stepdaughter's birthday if it was that big of a deal to your stepsister or her mother. They're both unnecessary drama. I'd ignore them and focus on the pregnancy. Congrats. My apartment unit consists of 3 other young women and me. As such, we are careful to ensure our doors are always locked. One of my roommates is particularly afraid of intruders. She doesn't even let me keep the bedroom window open at night because she fears someone may enter through it. The other day, one of my roommates overslept a bit. She had a flight to catch in the afternoon. And when she didn't answer her mom's calls, her mom ended up calling our building manager. The manager sent us an email letting us know that her mom was trying to get a hold of her. Unfortunately, none of us saw this email until much later. About an hour after it was sent, her mom called again and asked someone to knock on the door and check on or get a hold of my roommate. She never explicitly asked for anyone to come into the unit. The building manager sent the maintenance man up to knock on our door this time. He knocked on our front door while 2 of my roommates and I were sleeping. He honestly banged so hard it woke me up and then proceeded to let himself inside when we didn't answer, only to knock on my bedroom door. I was sleeping and partially unclothed, so I didn't answer the door for him. He then banged on my roommate's bedroom door. They said they yelled multiple times who it was and he didn't answer for some reason. They opened the door for him. He did help because he ensured my roommate caught her flight in time. But there's a good chance she would have caught it regardless since she still had hours to catch it at that point. Her mom was simply overreacting. I think the maintenance man really overstepped by entering our unit without our permission. And if it was truly an urgent matter, the building manager should have at least tried calling us first. Most of the time, my roommates don't sleep in clothing, and it would have been particularly violating if they had been unclothed when he came in. It is not okay for a grown man to enter our space unannounced and knock on our bedroom doors. We've been friendly with him when he's fixed things in the past. And I feel that he thinks we'll be okay with him overstepping boundaries simply because we're young, nice girls. In the past, he has used a few of our items without asking us and continued to use them even after we noticed and asked him not to. And I get the sense that he thinks we'll let him in our space. He's kind and I think he's well-meaning, but this is too far. I emailed the building manager about it, and she was receptive and apologized, saying she had no idea that he let himself in, and it made it clear to him that it was not okay to do so. He was not asked to do this by anyone. In my state, it's illegal to come this way without prior notice. I'm wondering if we overreacted in reporting his behavior. Am I the idiot? Edit. We truly don't get any creepy vibes from this guy. He's a really nice guy with daughters our age and has never made us feel creeped out. We think he's unaware of how intrusive this can seem from our point of view. You are the idiot. He was called upon to do a wellness check basically, and that's exactly what he did. What if something terrible had befallen one of you girls, and he had been the only one there to find it and save a life? Was Rumi's mom overreacting? Most likely, but the maintenance guy didn't know that. You even state that he has daughters your age. So, it's very possible he felt an extra duty to make sure everyone was okay. Someone should have at least verbally answered him when he knocked, or at least when he called out to you. Yep, you're the idiot. You should be taking your issues up with the building manager, submitting a complaint about them. That's the person who entertained this helicopter parent's lunacy and ordered maintenance staff to your apartment. Maintenance was following management's instructions. How on earth do you not see that? My God, the comments on this post are bananas. For the record, I wouldn't have opened the door either, and I probably would have called the cops. Jesus, these lunatics saying a half-asleep, half-dressed woman is selfish for not opening her bedroom door for some random guy banging on it. I can't with y'all. OP, not the idiot. Some of you people are delusional. Agree. Any part of maintenance/office cannot enter without proper notice unless it's an emergency. A wellness check to building management is not an emergency. What should have happened was the police being called if her mom was that worried. And how did management know it was really her mom, or even if she talks to or is in contact with her mom? This whole thing creeped me out. Exactly. A man entered your apartment without permission because the building manager got a call from a stranger? You're not required to answer the door when someone is pounding. If you're a woman home alone, not expecting anyone and don't know who it is, you maybe shouldn't. Obviously, it depends on the situation. Your roommate's mom should have gotten her daughter's roommate's phone numbers. There's a reason going into a tenant's apartment without notice is illegal. That's because it's completely overstepping and disrespectful. It's an invasion of your privacy. I have 2 boys, Nathan and Isaac, and 1 girl, Gracie. All are great kids and haven't really caused any big troubles and well-behaved. Recently, my middle child, Isaac, has been really into soccer and football. He tries to get his hands on any round object and tries to play with it like it's a ball. He's been getting his siblings into it, and it's just been causing problems. If he could play, it'd be nice, but he's honestly as bad as a cat in water. Gracie and Nathan have been hyping him up, calling him the next Messi, and a lot of other stars. Nice. Nothing wrong with it. I've told Isaac not to play with objects that he knows could harm him, and he's been listening up until yesterday. He decided it would be awesome if he could play with my weight. Try kicking them like a football. That went as well as expected with a broken ankle and a free night at the hospital. I told Isaac what he did was stupid, that he deserved this broken ankle, and it should teach him a lesson. And then maybe he should let this football soccer thing die down a bit and find a new hobby until his ankle was healed. And he blamed me for not believing in him and wanting to sabotage his career. My wife thinks I should have been softer with Isaac, but he's not 4. He's a teen and should know what things are stupid. So, am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Dumb move, yes. Does he really deserve a broken ankle? No, that was harsh. Also, what caused his broken ankle has nothing to do with the sport. There's no reason for him not to play the sport he loves. Why are you pushing this? He just can't be kicking weights. It does sound like you don't want him to play the sport. How does anyone think they can play with a weight like a football? What? Dude, watch this. Here, hold my drink. I'm not sure I would have used the words, "You deserve a broken ankle," but teenage is a pretty good age to learn about screw around and find out. Opie is not the idiot. If you're dumb enough to kick a weight, you deserve whatever consequences happen for that level of stupidity. If this was a little kid, it'd be one thing. But at his age, he is way too old to think that this was in any way, shape, or form a good idea. I hope he makes a full and fast recovery and learns from this. But this was such a dumb thing to do that the natural consequences are deserved. My wife and I married a few months ago, and things have been great. However, my wife is under pressure from her in-laws, my dad and my stepmom. My stepmom in particular is very conservative and has a very clear idea of what a life should be like and how she should act. And to put it mildly, my wife doesn't fit any of those boxes. My stepmom doesn't like that my wife refused to take my name upon marriage and continues to work. Although she doesn't outright pressure her, my stepmom will make passive-aggressive remarks and kind of slyly hint at it. As a result, my wife is starting to really dislike and resent my stepmom. One day, we would have dinner at my dad's place. But before going, my wife told me she wanted to try something. She told me that whenever my stepmom said something derogatory, I should agree with her and then troll her by saying something even more ridiculous and extreme to show her the absurdity. I thought that was really hilarious and agreed to do the bit. Dinner starts off normally, but then my stepmom makes her first snide comment. And as time goes by, I continue to escalate. Welcome to our channel. Today's story is titled When Family Interference Ruins a Perfect Dinner. In this episode, we'll dive into a dramatic family gathering where a meticulously organized dinner turns into chaos due to some unexpected interference. I'm known in the family to be a control freak about preparing food. In fact, in my family, there are 2 dinners in the year that all members come, all 30 people. And before I took over, all dinners were extremely late. There was always some problem with seasoning or poor preparations. I'm organized, and for every meal, I have a spreadsheet with everything I need to make a huge-scale dinner. At first, they didn't respect it. Still, after seeing that my method was useful, everyone joined in and allowed me to be the head of the organization. Since then, dinners have been ready on time and everyone praises and repeats the dish. Not very common. It takes 1 to 2 days to prepare meals. I don't ask them to help me because I know I'm serious with organization. But if the person wants to, I ask them to respect the process. Another fact, my mother was a cook for 1 year and my sister-in-law is studying gastronomy. The situation, Sunday was the half-yearly dinner and I was the head as usual, would help me, my sister-in-law, mother, aunt, and uncle. This would be sister-in-law's first family dinner, and she offered to help. During the preparation, my mother started to do several things wrong. And every time I said something, she said something like, "Stay calm. A wrong thing will not lead to anything." The problem is that she did so much wrong, skipping so many necessary steps in the food that most things I had to redo or give it a second look. She continued to help even though I said it wasn't necessary. Finally, I broke down when I just commented something about the steps with my sister-in-law and she corrected me. I was going to comment, but my mother said, "I think you better cool off in the pool and let those with experience sort it out." I accepted, grabbed a glass of wine, took the spreadsheet with me, and spent the whole day in the pool, ignoring when asked to return. So, dinner was late, poorly seasoned, undercooked, and no one had a second dish. My mother later said I ruined dinner and humiliated our family in front of relatives in revenge. I shouldn't take that seriously because it was just a silly family joke. By the way, I love making these dinners. And yes, my mother's and sister-in-law's behavior is common. Am I the idiot? Edit. Examples of what she did wrong. She put too much salt on one of the meats, which was inedible. There had to be 10 of something for the food and she cut it in half because it was too much. It wasn't. Also, she started to make rice very early and we used the pan first for other food and the rice was last because it was the biggest and heaviest pan. My spreadsheet basically has the amounts and how long each cooking ingredient goes. I pointed out that when they got the quantities wrong, too much or too little, or when they start making food that's for a long time before or after. Not the idiot. It's one of the more annoying things when someone wants you to take responsibility for a project, but insists that you do it in their style. It's especially irritating if your methods are your coping mechanisms and they systematically take away your coping mechanisms while demanding that you continue. And that's exactly what your mom did to you. I'm petty enough to love that you took the spreadsheet with you, too. I'm sitting here giggling, thinking about you in the pool like, you got this, right? Sure you do. Singing, Carry On My Wayward Mom. I'm chilling in the pool as you told me to. Problem? Anyone who says there's a problem is an idiot. I would go low contact with my family after this level of disrespect, but maybe Opie has a different idea of things. When people try to sabotage your work and then act like you're the problem, you got to draw boundaries and hold firm. Exactly. And how's this sister-in-law supposed to be a pro when it's her first dinner? I think the mom kicked Opie out of the kitchen because she was trying to impress her new daughter-in-law. Then, when it went wrong, she blamed Opie instead of taking responsibility. So I think that mom was low-key bullying Opie to impress her new guest. A wrong thing will not lead to anything. What? It leads to all sorts of things. I can only imagine how expensive that wasted food for 30 freaking people was. Mom was embarrassed by the control freak style and wanted to chill, but she also wanted the structure and skill and outcome of having the person there who does all the stuff well. She can't have both, and she was embarrassed by not having it work out. She doesn't seem used to the concept of follow-through. Next time, tell people you don't want help in the future. Tell them you're happy to cook, but if you're cooking, you're doing it alone. Otherwise, everyone else can bring their own dish. I'm 29 female, a university professor/researcher. My research focuses on maternity, law, and society. More recently, I've been diving deeper into how one of the repercussions of the child-free movement is the segregation of mothers. My family obviously knows what I do. My sister, 26, is getting married and is choosing to do a child-free wedding. Fine enough. She announced her choice to the family a few weeks ago. I said nothing. This weekend, a few cousins and close family members and I went out to brunch. My sister, out of the blue, asked me what my thoughts are about her child-free wedding. I said it was not the moment nor the place to talk about it. It was her wedding, and my studies are from a much broader point of view, not from an individual perspective. Nevertheless, she insists. She says she won't be upset, and now a few others want to hear what I have to say. Okay then. So, I explain that from my research, I've found that child-free community events like birthdays and weddings have a bigger impact on mothers. How child-free events often burden the mother, the ones expected to care for the child, to stay away from them, excluding not just children, but women from participating in the social life of the community they're a part of. So, how does this idea of having a day that's all yours, expecting your community to celebrate and support you, while excluding important members of any community, children, come from an individualist worldview while maintaining your expectations over your community? I did highlight again that my studies are not focused on one individual, but on the societal impacts of a changing dynamic in communities. I was more articulate than this, since I didn't have a word limit and answered a few questions that arose. However, my sister was quiet after that, and as soon as I noticed, I changed the subject, and everyone moved on to other topics. Well, yesterday, my sister called me to tell me I was very rude to say what I said, and that she was upset with me. I've been thinking about it, and I'm conflicted. I know it could cause problems, so I refused to answer the first time, but she insisted and said that it would be fine. So, I don't know. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Was she fishing for a debate or an argument? She got the answer she asked for, knowing very well about what you research. Very well said, by the way. I've never seen child-free events from that perspective. You did everything right when giving your thoughts after being deliberately asked for them. I'm not sure what she expected, unless it was to validate her having a child-free wedding. It's weird that she would ask and reassure you she won't be upset, and then call you rude. You not only warned her, but gave her the information in a very professional manner. I wouldn't have been upset if it were me. I would go ahead with my child-free wedding, but it would give me food for thought. Also, thank you. I appreciate this input on the societal aspect of child-free events. It's an angle I've never thought of before, and it's interesting. Your broad themes and conclusions make total sense. I can absolutely see how that would happen. Not limited to weddings, but I've seen this happen in one friend group, which really sucked for the mom in question. She was lonely, isolated, and doing an unfair share of parenting. Your position clearly not only has merit, but also has support garnered from a body of social science research. So, I wouldn't just dismiss it as unimportant or untrue. Certainly, it wasn't rude for you to share it. 29 female, just got married to Tom, 32 male, 3 weeks ago. I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with him. We just returned from our honeymoon in Japan a week later, and I got the wedding photos. My sister was a photographer since she has a business and wanted to gift us all the photos and videos. One of my bridesmaids, Hannah, 29 female, dad passed suddenly in a freak accident before the wedding. She has a necklace he bought her a few years ago, and she wanted to wear it on our wedding day, something she asked for on that day. Unfortunately, it didn't go with her dress at all, way too loud and long, and I thought it detracted from her dress. However, I didn't see this as a huge hill to die on, since I've read about editing wedding photos online and that it's a way for everyone to be happy. So, she wore it in the photos, and I asked my sister if she could do me a solid and edit two versions of the photo, one copy with the necklace in it for Hannah, and one without the necklace in it for me. So, I ended up having that photo printed and put up in the dining room of me and all my bridesmaids. Tom and I threw a barbecue to thank everyone again for coming to the wedding. It was all going well until Hannah saw the edited photo without the necklace framed in on my wall. I explained and told her that I thought it was a nice way to compromise, since I didn't say it didn't go with the outfit at the wedding. She wasn't happy and said that the necklace meant a lot to her, and it was rude to have it edited out. I apologized, but pointed out that we gave her the photos where she was wearing a necklace, and that I wanted my photo with my original vision on my wall. There are photos of her where she's wearing the necklace. It was just this one photo of all my bridesmaids and me in front of our venue that I had edited. All of the bridesmaids' dresses were handmade by me to match my theme, and as a nice memento and part of their thanks for being in my bridal party. I would have designed hers differently if I knew she wanted to wear this necklace. She left pretty quickly after that and has refused to answer my calls or messages of me trying to apologize. Was this an idiot move? She still got to wear the necklace to the wedding and has photos of her in it also. But I wanted the outfits I made for my bridesmaids to be on show, not her dad's necklace. No idiots here. There's nothing wrong with you having an edited copy of the photo, but it was a little soon for your friend. Your friend's feelings are still raw. It felt like a jab to her. It wasn't. I know you know that. The other bridesmaids probably knew that, and your friend probably does too. But emotions are overwhelming. She just needs some time to go through grieving her father first. It was too soon, and that's not really anyone's fault. I'm sorry I wasn't as sensitive as I could have been. I got so lost in my own joy that I didn't stop thinking about how much you're grieving. I hope you can forgive me. Would you like to talk about your dad? Sometimes apologizing doesn't mean you've done something wrong. It's an acknowledgement that someone has been hurt, and their emotions are all over the place. If it's an important friendship, swallowing pride and reaching out can go a long way. Weird scenario, but for the last 2 months, 28 female, and my husband, 31, lived on my sister-in-law's property. We have an RV parked beside our house, and we're using her electricity to run power. We have all of our meals with her, her husband, and her kids, and we also take showers indoors and do laundry. It is helping us out dramatically because we're able to save money for our home purchase. We couldn't save while we were in our rental. Now the agreement is that I do house chores, sweeping, mopping, dishes, caring for our dogs, their laundry if I feel like it, and alternating cooking days, helping with grocery shopping, roughly $600 a month because we all lead together, and pay her $150 for water and electric we're using. So around $750 a month, plus all our housework is done by me. My husband does all the yard work, mowing, weed whacking, insect spraying, garbage runs, and driveway maintenance, as it's dirt and gets ruts. I'm currently 26 weeks pregnant as well. The point is, we do a lot. Sister-in-law, her husband, and her kids hardly ever lift a finger with us being here. Anyways, I'm currently not working. My husband owns his own business and is gone 40 to 50 hours a week and makes more than enough to provide all we need here, plus saving a significant amount for a house. He doesn't want me working while pregnant. I have hypertension, so I left my job 3 months ago. Well, lately, my sister-in-law's been sending me job alert after job alert, easily 8 to 10 plus a day. She's been dropping hints constantly. Every time we go anywhere, she'll be like, "These guys are hiring, I can grab you an app." I always say no. I do not need to work right now as I'm contributing well beyond my means already, and my husband doesn't want me working right now. So she drops it, but then continues to send me the alerts. Yesterday, I was kind of fed up because sister-in-law asked me to do a lot more yesterday and I was just exhausted. So I was cleaning, doing all their laundry and scrubbing walls because they had a party planned. And she sent over an alert for a cleaning position and I lost it. I responded with, "Okay, I will get a job, but that means you'll have no one to clean your dirty underwear and scrub your walls for you, and I will not be doing anything but my portion of the chores around here." She responded, "I'm just trying to help. There's no need to be nasty. My husband is on my side. Am I the idiot?" Edit. We have talked about it. I thought the same thing, her being fed up with our arrangement. But my sister-in-law has clarified that she wants us here and doesn't even want us to buy a house, to the point of her talking about converting her barn into an apartment for us and making big plans for it without actually getting a yes from us. She says this is her way of helping, sending me job alerts because she feels that two people need a job because she's resentful of her husband for not working. Not the idiot. The last line is what this is all about. So her hubby is just sitting on his butt. Oh. She has a lot of anger. You guys need to move even if it's to a fan camp situation that has hookups. What does she expect to happen when you give birth? This situation is going to get worse. I'm not even talking about the job alerts. This isn't healthy. You guys need to get out of there. Of course sister-in-law wants you there. She'll lose her indentured servant if you leave. You've been there for 2 months and you already pay for a good chunk of their food, do most or all of their chores, pay your utilities, etc. This is ridiculous. They're using you to help them with their finances and housework. You have a high-risk pregnancy. None of this is good for you. Exactly. OP, for $750 a month, you can rent a spot for your RV, likely with extra accommodations that benefit you, instead of sister-in-law, without the headache of dogs, cats, kids, secondhand smoke, and her lazy butt husband. Look after the little one and your own well-being, mental and physical. You're not the idiot. I kind of feel sorry for sister-in-law. It sounds like she's projecting and maybe even mentally struggling, but you can be supportive from afar. My wife has a young teen daughter from her first marriage. She calls me by my first name as she has a very present and active dad. My wife and I also have a toddler daughter and an infant son. Originally, my daughter was calling me daddy, but recently she's been calling me by my first name. I let it go for a bit, but after a few months, it wasn't ending. I know it's innocent, and she's only doing it because her sister is. I don't make a big deal out of it. For example, if she says, "Can I please have some juice, Justin?" I'll respond, "Daddy'll get you some juice." I've gently told her before that I'm dad or daddy. Her sister calls me by my first name because she already has a dad. I'm not offended by this at all. I get it's normal. I just want to correct it now before it becomes a habit and it never ends. Especially as we have a younger child who will soon learn how to talk. My wife thinks I'm overreacting and should just let her call me whatever she wishes. She claims if our kids called her by her first name, she wouldn't care, but they never have. So it's easy to say, I'm not on a power trip. I just think it's okay to want to be called dad. As long as I'm gently correcting her and not making a big deal, it shouldn't matter. The other night, my daughter asked for something using my first name. I said, "Dad will get it." And she corrected herself saying, "Oh yes, please daddy." My wife rolled her eyes and said I had broken her spirit. Was I wrong to gently correct her for this? It's completely innocent. I know someone else who had their own child and 2 older stepkids. Little ones are too young to understand familiar relationships fully. And she's likely just copying her big sister. Just gently correct her. Not the idiot. Your kid is just copying her big sister. She's not a teenager. She's a confused little kid. Your wife should call you daddy in her presence. So she knows. Your wife is an idiot. I get that it doesn't bother her, but it clearly bothers you. And I think out of respect for you, she should be encouraging your daughter to call you dad, not Justin. There are many ways to break a person's spirit, but reminding them gently to call you dad is not one of them. Why doesn't your wife have your back? How would she feel if the child started calling her by her first name instead of mommy? I bet she'd be hurt. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more intriguing family tales. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest content. Hello, everyone. Today, I have a story that is as heart-wrenching as it is shocking. It's about the complex dynamics of family relationships and the unexpected choices people make. This is My Mom Demands I Lie to My Stepsister About Her Identity. Get ready for a tale that will keep you on the edge of your seat as we dive into the intricacies of love, acceptance, and standing up for what is right. When I was 18, my mom remarried my stepdad, who had a baby girl, and we became as close as any sisters as she grew up. I'm now 34 and she's nearly an adult. Last week she got outed at school, and to make a bad situation worse, her dad was mad at me and said she was lying for attention and called her names when she said it was for real. She came over to my apartment, distraught and looking for some advice. I'm a lesbian and have been out for years. I told her I was so sorry that happened, which was crappy since she deserved to be able to decide who to tell and when. But she wasn't the only one outed. Her dad, he just outed himself as a bigot. He outed himself as someone who should never have become a parent if he wasn't ready to love and accept his own child. And her school administrators outed themselves as negligent, probably even in the legal sense. But overall, when I come out, I often out other people way harder than I out myself. It can be hard, but it can also feel empowering to take a torch to the darkness, light it for all to see, and burn it away. Just by being in the room and letting people tell on themselves, we're outing idiots. So I let them talk and then go tell whoever I darn well please. I let them become known as ignorant as they choose because that's a lot worse than being known as queer. I told her it was horrible her story was taken from her, but I hope that she knew it wasn't taken forever. It's her right to say as much or as little to whoever she wants. And if someone gossips, they don't know her heart. They reveal their ugliness. So don't let it eat at you. So document and record it if you want. Share it if you want or keep it just in case. But whatever you do, it's all your call. It always is. We talked well into the night, and she was feeling way better afterward and ready to go home and face her dad again. Well, shortly after she went home, my mom called me. She said that my sister had come home and told her dad that they should agree to disagree about her issue, and anything further he had to say about it spoke only to his character. And when he tried to argue, she took out her phone and started filming and saying, "Do tell you had a child and weren't ready to love it. Get a dog if you want something that'll come back begging when you heard it." My mom called me furious because she thought I'd coached her on what to say, which I genuinely hadn't. I told her what advice I'd given, and she was angry. I even said that much and asked me if it would have killed me to say that I think your dad loves her and to give him some time to understand. I was irate to hear that, honestly, because what she said was heartbreaking and it hurts to hear my mom and stepdad didn't listen. Am I the idiot for the advice I gave? Not the idiot. Your advice was quite wise and your sister was tough to respond that way to her dad. I would remind your mother and him that love is not what you say. It's not what you feel. It's what you do. Your stepdad demonstrated clearly that he doesn't love his daughter. No amount of words will fix that. He needs to look deep and decide how to act going forward. Your reply is spot on. Sometimes parents have a hard time adjusting to their child's life looking different than they pictured it, and they might not initially be as warm and accepting as they should be, but you can tell they're trying. Unfortunately, this is not any of those. He wasn't trying. He was yelling and scaring her and rejecting her. It is 100% on him to apologize and fix this, pronto. It's not an OP sister to give him time when he's a raging idiot. The mom's response infuriated me as much as the dad's. Your mom is victim shaming, and that's not okay. Your dad's atrocious behavior is nobody's fault except his own. How much time does it take to understand I like girls, not boys? It isn't rocket science. Also, he loves her? Well, if this is how he typically expresses it, nobody needs that kind of love in their life. Yep, mom is in denial about the type of person she married, or she sees nothing wrong with his behavior and is trying to downplay it. Not the idiot. And Opie, if this is a new discovery about your mom, I'm so sorry. This is really stupid. But my girlfriend, whom I've been with for 2 years now, has been a vegan for a few weeks now. I've supported her and her transitioning into it, but I love meat. She doesn't mind me eating meat when we're out with friends or by ourselves, and rarely talks about it on the way back, although she's a little distant. Lately, though, she's been expressing how it's making it hard for her to see others enjoy meat, while she's trying her best to commit to a lifestyle change, and that if I could try dropping meat for a week or two, she can get more solidified in it. I told her no, and that I have no problem with her being vegan, but I'm not going to give up meat as well. If she wants, we can stop going out to restaurants with friends and together to help her. She got angry at me, saying how she doesn't need to put her social life on hold and stay indoors all day because I won't make this compromise for her. I tried to explain that I wasn't trying to limit her freedom and she can go wherever she wants, but if we're going together, most chances are I'll order meat. She's being very distant and angry at me lately, and my friends are telling me I'm being manipulative. Am I the idiot? Edit. I just wanted to add my girlfriend does not have any health issues that I know of, nor did she bring it up in the conversation about her transitioning or our argument. I really don't know if I can go a day without eating meat. It's my comfort food, and I've been stressed like crazy. I know it's a bad addiction/craving, but it's not the only thing I eat. I do eat fruits and vegetables, but often I just want a ham sandwich to just calm down. I don't know why, but I audibly laughed at I just want a ham sandwich to calm down. Not the idiot Opie. She has a self-imposed dietary restriction. It's not a health issue that needs solidarity. She can go be a vegan on her own time, and pushing others to follow is the exact part of veganism everyone complains about. You are the idiot. As you wrote, she asked you for just a few weeks, and it shows you don't care enough about her and her wants for a better lifestyle. I'm not saying you don't care, but that's just how this looks. She isn't asking you to make a lifestyle change just for you to help with hers. I'm sure you can find other things to eat so she won't feel like she's being punished. Sometimes we make sacrifices for the people we love, and 1 or 2 meals that don't include meat won't kill you. I'm 99% sure she's also using this to ease you into becoming vegan. It's just 2 weeks. Turns into, that wasn't so bad, was it? Why stop now? You're both adults. Her choosing to become vegan is her decision. You choosing to eat meat is your decision. Her trying to force you to be vegan is being an idiot. She said she doesn't want to put her social life on hold, but what's her plan when her social life friends are eating meat? Does she plan on forcing them to stop too? I was a vegan for a year. I didn't force anyone else to stop eating meat. I, 37 female, am married to my husband, 38, and we have a daughter together, tween. My daughter is very small for her age and sometimes gets treated like a younger child. She loves to hop up in my or my husband's lap and cuddle with us on the couch or in a chair. I've thought that maybe she may be too old for that sort of thing, and maybe I'm hurting her by letting her continue. Yesterday, she tried to hop in my lap and cuddle, and I told her she was too old for that and to get off me. She got really upset, got off of me, and went to her room and slammed the door. She hasn't tried to get in my lap since, and things are tense between us. She doesn't talk to me unless she has to, and when I hugged her good night last night, she didn't hug me back. I feel really guilty because I obviously hurt her feelings, but I feel like she might be too old to sit on my lap. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. She's not going to want to cuddle with you much longer, so you maybe have a year left and you're throwing that time away instead of cherishing it. Now she doesn't feel like or isn't comfortable hugging her own parents. What a terrible shame and sad thing to do to your own child, Opie. Yeah, she no longer has a year. It's over. Opie, you handled that terribly. You made her feel like she's done something wrong. Many people sit on their parents' lap at all ages. I've seen full-grown adults do it. She's a child. No wonder she's upset with you. How did you tell her? Did you literally say, "You're too old, get off of me?" Because if you literally told her to get off with no warning, it's no wonder why she perceived that as a rejection and is now completely confused as to what sort of physical affection is okay and what'll get her snapped at. Opie, there is no age limit for parental affection. I'll start holding her when I'm too big for my mom's lap. My 16-year-old still curls up for snuggles. I'm 35 and my sister's 38. We still jokingly get in my mom's lap and cuddle. What the heck, OP? Your kid obviously loves you. Shows you love through cuddling up with you guys and feels comfortable. What you did by saying this basically makes her feel embarrassed and bad about showing you guys love. Yikes. You should feel guilty. My sister, 21, and me, 18 female, always fought when we were little. She never wanted a sibling, and I didn't necessarily want her to be my older sister either. My parents tried to make us get along but stopped after a couple of years, realizing that there was no point. I've been obsessed with getting straight A's since I was a little girl. I only hung out with a few friends and spent my free time studying or playing sports throughout high school while my sister struggled in school, hung out with the wrong people, and got into some very bad stuff. This didn't make her a person, but it made her make some very dumb decisions. One of her dumb decisions led to my nephew, who's now a toddler. I put aside my differences with my sister and have a fantastic relationship with him. I babysit him all the time and come to play with him while my sister sleeps. She works overnights. My issue is that my parents and sister want me to give up my car to her so that she can have a safer car since hers is old and keeps breaking down. My car is something I worked my butt off for and I really don't want to give it up. My parents bought it for me as a birthday gift since my grades had been so good throughout high school and I got into a very good college. I spent countless nights staying up till 3 a.m. studying, and I gave up on time with my friends and boyfriend just so that I could keep my grades up. So honestly, I view this car as my baby and a product of my hard work. My sister and her boyfriend have been texting me all week about it. She's been telling me it's only fair since I was the reason our parents never paid attention to her, and just because I got good grades doesn't mean I deserve the car. She told me I'd be putting her son in danger if I kept making them drive their unsafe car. My parents told me it was completely my decision, but I felt they wanted me to give it to her. I know they most likely can't afford a brand new or even slightly used car now, especially since they're going to help pay for half of my college. I understand she needs a safer car, but it isn't my responsibility to provide it for her. As I said, I worked so hard for it, and I'll be left carless if I do let her have it. I want my nephew to be safe, but shouldn't that be my parents' job, not mine? It is unfair for her, but she chose to live that life, and putting the blame on me just feels wrong. Just because I got good grades doesn't mean I deserve the car. Literally the reason you have the car. Some people. Not the idiot. It's not your responsibility to fix the consequences of your sister's bad decisions. I think your sister and her boyfriend are idiots here. They're expecting you to trade your hard-earned car for her crappy car that you'll have to sink money into every time it breaks down. This is not your responsibility to make her feel better about being ignored by her parents. She's manipulating you, and allowing her boyfriend to text you is just the manipulator of cherry on top. If I could tell you from the experience of having a screwed-up sibling who got every chance under the sun, I was expected to suffer for his mistakes. Don't trade it. Don't allow her to guilt you. Don't allow yourself to dwell on it. Do graduate college. Do continue to have a relationship with your nephew. Your sister may try to leverage him against you. Expect it and just continue on with your success. Your parents are stuck here and likely don't want you to trade it, but your sister's probably a monster about it. My goodness. My sister has been texting me all week about it, and her boyfriend too. If you have time to text me, you can find a good enough job to get a newer car yourselves. She's the one who's choosing not to get a more reliable car within her own means or working on getting to those means. Stop looking at the car as the reward for good grades. The real reward is the schooling and scholarship you'll get from good grades. The car is just the icing on the cake. Yeah, at 21 years old, if she's adult enough to be a parent, then she's adult enough to figure out how to get reliable transportation without crying to mommy and daddy to force a sibling to give her their car. Heed my words. Do not give her your car. You do, and your sister will walk all over you for the rest of your lives. If she needs one that badly, she can save up or get a loan from the bank. Not guilt trip you just for existing. My wife and I had our first child a few months ago. My sister lives 2 hours away and has seen my daughter once. My wife, kid, and I made plans to travel the 2 hours to visit my sister. I thought this would be a good opportunity for my sister to visit with my daughter, and we'd go out to eat. My sister has 3 dogs who are her world and have free reign in her place, much to my chagrin at times. They're allowed on the couch, in the kitchen, and everywhere. I visited her and not sat on the couch because I don't want dog hair on me. We've had family vacations where she brought her dogs. Everything had to be dog friendly or centric, and I didn't enjoy that trip. I've passed on future vacations. There was no point in trying to talk her out of bringing them, plus, I didn't want to spend my vacation with her dogs. When we arrived, I knocked, heard the barking, and told my wife to hold off bringing my daughter inside until I knew the dogs were in another room. Sister opens the door, greets me, and says, "Come inside." I asked whether she minded putting the dogs in another room. She pauses, goes absolutely not, and looks baffled that I would even request that. I told her I wasn't ready for my daughter to be around 3 dogs. It's only for about an hour, then we're going to lunch. After a bit of back and forth, she obviously won't put the dogs away. I just say, "All right, I'm gonna head home." I help my wife put my daughter in the car and